Okay, so I think it's probably worth us getting started because I appreciate that you're all super busy and you've taken time out of your day today to come and listen to what we've got to tell you and sort of get involved in our reintroduction, as it were, of myGP. Hopefully, most of you guys know who we are as myGP. If you don't, I'm sure you're about to know soon. And if you do, then hopefully what we're about to tell you is going to make a lot of sense and hopefully make your lives a lot easier as we move forward. So just as a brief introduction, my name's Louise. I am the comms manager here at myGP, and I've got quite a few of my colleagues on the line as well who are all going to be speaking to you over the next sort of 45 minutes, and we promise not to go over an hour. So some of my colleagues' faces you'll probably recognise, others you may not, but I'm sure you'll get to know us as we go through. So Hilary, I'm going to pass over to you so you can do a little bit of background as to why we've come here today.
All right, thank you, Louise. Oh, hang on. Sorry, we just had one more team member who was straggling behind. There he is. I think it's actually my fault because I forgot to let him on the call. Okay, hi everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. As Louise said, my name is Hilary Cannon. I am the Global Marketing Director here at iPlato, who are the makers of, the creators rather, of myGP. And as marketing falls into my job title, I have the happy responsibility of storytelling. And so I'm going to tell you a very brief story about how we got here today. And what we're here today to talk about is exactly what all of these words say. It's total, it's comprehensive, it's all encompassing, we hope. We are sure you'll give us your feedback if it isn't, but it is what you have asked us for, or perhaps not you specifically on this call, but what our customers have asked us for over the years. We are bringing everything together for you, and we are pretty excited to announce it to you. So just briefly, Louise, if you could, thank you, darling. So myGP's been around for a bit. Those of you who know us will know this already. Those of you who don't, we thought we would make the point that we're not sort of a newbie in the market. We've been around since 2005. The visual that's up on your screen here is just to illustrate that we've spent the last 15 years or so developing unique products to address a single or other need within primary care. So we started with practice messaging. We carried on with the ability to survey patients. We developed our patient app. We developed a remote consultation capability. But to date, we've been a bit piecemeal in how we present this to the customers. So you might use us for one service, but not another. And as we all know, the situation that we're in right now, if you'll advance the slide, please, for me, Louise. The situation that we're in right now, I do not need to reiterate to anyone on this call, but we felt that it was a time for simplicity. And so following all those years of developing all those things and giving them to the customers in drips and drabs, we're bringing them all together, a single offering, a single package, for one price, which should, we hope, address a lot of the needs of primary care that those of you who are on this call today have every day. And it allows you to have one login, one supplier with whom to work, one set of invoices and all of these things. I'm not going to get into those details, but this is just to say that we've brought all of the different things together into a single offering that we are now bringing to you as one piece. The next slide. And the point that we really want to emphasize today about this offering is that our new bundle of goodies includes not just tools for practitioners. So we are integrated with GPP, we are integrated with EMIS, we are integrated with Vision, and we are going to be talking to you a little bit about the tools that we are bringing to you on the clinical side. But what we really want to stress is that we consider patient engagement to be of absolutely equal import in this equation. So empowering the patient, educating the patient, providing the patient with choice, with simplified access, that's what we're really aiming to do. And therefore, we're bringing the clinical tools on an equal par with our patient-facing app. And I just would ask that you bear that in mind as we carry on with the presentation. We really genuinely believe that a more empowered, engaged population is also a healthier one, which will hopefully make everyone's lives a little bit easier. And I think, unless I'm wrong, nope. The other thing we wanted to say is that, I forgot there was one more slide. is that as we're going through some of the demonstrations, you might see that we are bringing some extra partners onto our patient-facing app. We are trying to enable patient choice in doing that, but whatever partners we may bring on and whomever else we may work with, the NHS is always given pride of place. We do not compete with the NHS. We are here to help you and not to hinder you. And you'll see this when we go through the demonstration of the app. This is demonstrably true. NHS services are always surfaced first within the app. It's literally the first thing that you see when you open it. So, that's just to reinforce the message that although we are placing equal import on this patient-facing app, the NHS is still our #1 priority, and we feel it's our duty to you as the customers, but also to the patients who, rely on and love the NHS as much as we all do. And so with that, I do think it's time for me to zip it and pass back over to Louise.
Amazing, thank you. So I hope that will give you a bit of an insight into why we're making this change and moving things forward in what we believe to be the right direction. I hope you would agree as well. So we put our heads together and we came up with a group of real world situations which we know that you'll be doing on a day-to-day basis, and things that you really need to be able to do, and you need to be able to do them quickly and simply. So what we're going to do is a whistle-stop tour of these various different scenarios, and myself and the team are going to work through them to show you how we can simply and effectively do these on the one platform. So the first one we're going to take a look at is going to be call recall. So this will be what we use for the chronic disease invite. So Kieran, if you wouldn't mind taking us through that would be fab.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to go through call and recall. For those of you that are new to that functionality, it's the ability to have hidden appointments. We realise with COVID and what's gone on recently, putting a full appointment set online is quite difficult, especially when patients want to access services. So by putting things like chronic disease invites, annual reviews and vaccination invites all together on hidden appointments, it means it's easier for patients to access them when they're eligible, rather than everybody getting free access to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and take control. And hopefully here you can see the portal that is how you access the iPlato platform. And you can see that you log in through a web page. It's very accessible. You don't need any entry access. You can just log in through a web page. Once you log into the web page, there's different settings and different areas that you access the services from. But within the campaign section, we have a call and recall tab. So with call and recall, you can see here some examples of campaigns that have been running previously and some that are running live at the moment. Now I have the ability to create a new call and recall. So typically this would be for chronic disease, health invites, flu jabs. It doesn't really matter what the criteria is that you want to use, but you can easily create using this feature, hidden appointments, and give access to patients that require them. What we'll also do is I will share my desktop. There you go. So the first section that we've got is patient IDs and NHS numbers. So depending on how you've obtained them, you have the ability to pull them directly from the clinical system, depending on what clinical system you're using as well, whether it's the NHS number or the EMIS number that's visible. You can see here, as an example, what I've done is I've generated a report. So here you should see an Excel report at the moment, and you can see all the patient IDs that I've extracted. These are all test patients from our system, but in essence, this is where the practice have ran a search to identify patients for a particular cohort or group of patients. So in this example, it could be for a flu jab, it could be for a COVID alert. So it could be that these patients are particularly at risk, and I want to send them messages and allow them to book appointments directly through the system. So you can see here, these are the EMIS numbers in this example, or I could use NHS numbers. Now, if I switch back to the screen here, and what I'll do is I'll paste in the numbers directly and I can match them straight away. So here you can see all the patients that we've picked up as part of that search from the clinical system. Our system automatically matches them together. And then at the bottom, we've got two choices. So if the patient's using our myGP app, which is free and available to any patients to download, you can send them specific messages. So in here, I could do first name, you are eligible, and then continuing filling out the information. I'll give you examples further on, but because it's a data message, there's no restriction on length. You can send media, you can send YouTube links, you can send whatever information you want to the patient. There's no costs that are incurred with this one. And with the SMS message, similar message, but you may not want to send links. You may just want them to advise to contact the practice. One of the other benefits of being able to use this is you can ask the patient to book an appointment directly as part of the call and recall. Now underneath, you can see all the appointment slots that we're pulling through from the clinical system. So in this example, I'll use NHS Health Check, and I want a particular button to appear on the app for the patient to book. Again, quite simple for this one. We'll just call it Health Check. Oh, spell it properly. As we move further down, I can start that campaign from today, and it's going to run for a week. I then choose when I want to send this out, and I'll send it now, today, and I'm going to send it at 3 o'clock. I do have the option to send it at a different time, so I'd rather it when the practice was closed, and I want patients to do things online. I might send it at 6 o'clock this evening, and I can also add in a read code. So if this was a particular invite for health checks or flus, I can attach the read code to this. I would then send the information out. This will automatically go out to the patients. They'll receive a notification whether they're on SMS, or they'll receive a notification whether they're on the myGP app. If they're on the myGP app, hidden appointments will be made visible to them to allow them to book them directly. Now, what I've also done as well is, because you may be interested in seeing what the patient sees, I will show you the screen for what the patient sees. There we go. So we're going to share this one. So hopefully now you can see the call and recall, which is the patient view. And here you can see the app on the patient's phone. There's the icon for myGP that's received two messages like any normal service. So the notifications have come through. The patient realizes they've received a message directly through the app. So they'll click on the icon and it will take them straight into myGP. In this case, it's logged me in automatically with the Face ID. I then have the ability to click on the messages tab at the bottom of the screen to go in and see what the messages that I've received. In this example, at the bottom, you can see it says, "Dear Kieran, you're eligible for a flu injection. You can find out more by clicking this link." And then the link would actually take them through to any media that you want to present to them. In this case, it's particularly for flu vaccinations. The patient can choose to watch the video. They can then find out depending on what they want to do. If they want, they can reply decline as you've instructed them here, so that it would automatically exempt them from any further communications, and it'll automatically add the read code to the record. However, in this case, I'm going to click on the flu injection button that's made available to me, and then I can see flu injection appointments that only I can see. I can then filter on different types of branches. So if I only want to visit King Street, I can select that automatically from the list. I choose an appointment that I would like to look at, and I'll just enter in the reason for the appointment, which in this case was flu invite. Once I click done, appointment has been booked directly within the clinical system, and it's added to the home screen for me to look at. So you can see there, it's 12:20 on Thursday. Now, if I go through the normal booking process that patients would normally go through, depending on how it's been done as well, I may have set up a different link through to triage. So on here, you can see that they access patient online consultation service. So sat behind that button, I've inputted a link to eConsult, which will allow the patient to access online consultation directly from the myGP app. In this case, it's eConsult, but it could be any online provider. We've made this URL available to anybody that has the myGP available to be used. It's a very simple process, and you just change it in the background. We could add in Doctor-Link, eConsult, any of the providers, as long as there's a web URL. And in this case that we're looking at here, I've gone on to book an appointment for somebody that's in my household. So we do have proxy booking available as well. Okay. You can see the information if you wanted to add it to your diary as well. In order to configure that, it's within the settings tab, and there is a triage toolbar. Here you literally paste in the address that you require. So you can see it's quite easy to show hidden appointments, get the patient to use the app to book them that nobody else can see without contacting the practice. And if you're using an online consultation service, you can direct the patient to any of those providers through our platform. Okay, that's enough from me. So I'll pass back to my colleagues.
I should unmute myself, shouldn't I? Amazing. Thank you, Kieran. I'll say that twice. So thank you for going through those. So I think we've sort of covered off the chronic disease invite, and obviously we know you can use similar, you can use that for annual reviews and your vaccination invites as well. So the next thing I kind of want to come on to, which I'm going to pass over to my colleague John to have a look at, and that's video consultations and how we've really simplified that. So some of you who are already our customers might have our remote consultation module, but we'd like to show you and share with you how we've simplified this to really sort of make it a lot easier for you. So over to you, John. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm just going to share my screen. Hopefully you should all see this now, maybe give it a few seconds. So what we're seeing here is probably quite familiar to a lot of you. This is your EMIS installation. We have this running as a test practice, and the reason why I've got this running is because I want to show you Buddy. Buddy is one of our latest applications that's a software integrated patient messaging solution. What I mean by that is that this is basically a landing point. This is where you can do all of your patient communications while you're in the GP application. So what I've got here is it linked up, as I say, to a test environment. And what I'm going to show you is two things, not just the video, but also the ability to send text to the patient. And I'm also going to show you a little bit about the templates as well, which I know is also quite important. As you can see here, Buddy Bar, nice and discreet, just sits there up in the top right, gives you information about the patient that you've actually got loaded in your practice system. So in this case, we've got someone here that obviously reflects someone loaded in EMIS. The patient ID, the phone number, don't worry, that's not a bug, that's actually a deliberate obscure so that we aren't sending one of our developers' phone numbers out to you all, because I'm going to call him in a second. We're also seeing whether they have consent, whether the person has the myGP app and they're willing to take video calls, text messages. And then below that, we've got our categories as well. So you can pick things like an admin or just a general category so that you can select specific appointment, for instance, templates that you might want to use. Then you can just enter in some information here. Test, and I can send that off. So that then goes winging its way over to our developer. Buddy Bar goes back up in there, hides itself again until you next want to use it. Obviously, it will load whatever patient that you've got. I also want to show you a little bit more about the templates as well. So you just saw one there. We have the ability to manage these templates. So this can come from various places. Might be something you want from iPlato, might be your own list, or just a default list that you've got loaded in there as well. But you've got the ability to import those, export those, depending on kind of how you see fit. And you can also select these here, update them, delete them again as you see fit. Template categories, similar. So you've got the two categories that you can maintain. Again, you can import them if you like. And it just helps you to kind of manage all your different templates. Lastly, in the settings here, we've also got the ability to start Buddy when Windows starts as well. So instead of annoyingly having to reload it each time, you can just tick this box. Buddy will start for you. It'll also stay logged in as well. So what I'm going to do now is just go back to the main view with the communications. Again, patient's still loaded. If I wanted to as well, I could actually change this phone number on the fly. So if for some reason the patient wanted to be contacted via a different mobile number, I can just type that in there and messages will be sent to that person. For the sake of this demo, I'm just going to hit the video consultation button. What happens here is that it gives us a little countdown. You can see me. Hello. And what that's doing is phoning one of our developers on the other side. He's now picking up. Hello, there's Les. Everyone say hello to Les. And we're starting the video call there. So I'll just hang up there. And that is Buddy. Thanks.
Thanks, John. That was really useful. And do pass our thanks over to Les for taking some time out of his busy day to answer our call. So that's amazing. So Buddy obviously simplifies the way that we can do video consultations, and also you can send your ad hoc messages from there, so you don't need to bother logging back into other screens. You can do everything from that little buddy that is sat in your clinical system. So I just want to quickly go through, and I appreciate that I will do this quickly, I promise, and show you just how the patients view from the app. I think Kieran covered a little bit of this previously, but I just wanted to show, I know Hilary mentioned before that we've got some partners coming on board. So I'm just going to share the new look and feel of the app. So this is an exclusive. So this is hopefully going to be launched in the next couple of weeks. So it's all looking a little bit more snazzy. So let me, hopefully I'm not just going to share. So you should be able to see the app currently up on the screen. So as Kieran mentioned before, we've got this new interface here. As Hilary also said, we've got everything NHS first up front. And then as we move through, we've got our partners down here who are in our healthcare marketplace. So as we said, always NHS first. You know, we always want to give the patient the option to access their NHS services before anything else. So if I know in the current climate, obviously there has been a lot of talk around ill mental health. There's been, especially in the news over the weekend, with the amount of people booking appointments who are feeling really down with the current situation. So to give an example, if we run through and book an appointment, as you know, you can add dependents into the app. So in this example, I'm Jane. Kevin is my dependent. Kevin is my son. So I'm going to book an appointment here for Kevin. I believe he needs a routine GP appointment. So I'm going to book him in with Dr. Smith. And who is this? You know, what is this appointment for? I've put in here depression. So once I click through done, appointment successfully booked. But below you can find some services that may be of use for you. So as some of you may or may not know, IESO is an online CBT organisation. They provide IAPT services in certain CCGs throughout England. So it says there that you could learn more, and you'd link through, takes you here, and you could potentially self-refer to them and get seen quicker than you could if you were just booking a routine GP appointment. So I think that's just a quick example really of how these partners and our NHS partners are really being built into the app, and how we're sort of trying to tailor those, especially as we go through to the current climate, and make sure that we're really getting the people in there that are, you know, that our patients need really. So another quick one as well to show you was the order medications, which again we found has gone up tenfold, as you'd imagine. People wanting to do this online. So I believe most of you know would have seen this before. So see prescriptions, as you can see, I'm poorly Pete, so I'm on quite a few repeat medications. But I want to put in a new request because I've run out. So I can click on these because these are the ones I've run out of even. And then I can confirm my order below, which will go to the GP surgery. So once it's been approved, it will go through to my nominated pharmacy, who will then either deliver it to me or I can go pick it up. So that was just a real quick share of sort of the patient view on the app. And I just want to pass over to Luke, who is going to, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Luke, who's going to give us a quick overview of COVID-19 vaccination invite and how we can really speed that up using the patient app as well. So Luke, thank you.
Thanks very much. Okay, I'm just going to share my phone. Okay, so I'm going to log into the app as if I was a patient. Again, like Kieran, I'm going to use Face ID, but in this case with NHS login. And early on in the crisis with COVID-19, we were asked to add in some additional information into our app to raise awareness to patients. And these two options are currently in the app now and available to the patients to use. These are the COVID-19 symptom checker and the free NHS test service as well. So as a patient, if I click on the symptoms checker button, that will take me through to the 111 online page where I can start that questionnaire. Now, obviously, from a practice perspective, this means that less patients are using this top button to book an appointment to speak to their GP about COVID-19, or trying to contact their GP to book a test. If they want to do that via the app, they just click free NHS test, and again, it will take them through to the government website where they can start the process of booking it themselves. So it's more efficient for the patient, and it stops them contacting the GP when they can do it without doing so. One of the other things that we've done for COVID-19 was to add a barcode to the patient's profiles. Now, this has been particularly useful for practices doing walk-in vaccination clinics, because it's a really quick and easy way to identify the patient. Upon arrival, the barcode can be scanned, it identifies the patient, brings up their details. Now, clearly, from a practice perspective, that's a lot more efficient, simply scanning a barcode. It gives you all of the details of the patient instantly. From the patient's perspective, they then don't have to answer lots of questions. So it limits the patient-patient contact because they can get in and out of the practice a lot quicker. It's also particularly useful for clinics that might be run out in the community. So thinking ahead with the dreaded COVID vaccine that's going to come along, if this is done in a community setting where perhaps internet connection's not fantastic, they can actually gather all of the details of the patients who have been vaccinating offline and then batch code them later. And those are the additions for COVID-19. Thanks very much, Louise.
Thank you. I'm going to have to get quicker at all of this muting and unmuting and switching screens. So thanks guys, and thanks all for jumping on and demonstrating those. I really hope all of you who are signed in and following found that helpful. Obviously, if you've got any questions as you go through, please continue to keep putting them in the chat below, and we'll come through to those at the end. So I'm going to move through now to pass over to Jonathan, who is our Chief Commercial Officer here at myGP, who is going to talk pound signs and let you know how much all of this is going to cost. So Jonathan, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Louise, and thank you to my colleagues for showing us all about myGP and all those different scenarios. And I'm not going to talk pound signs, I'm going to talk pennies. But before I do that, I just want to talk about what's in the box, because we've given you some clues. Hilary began by talking about our new positioning and the way we're packaging everything together to make it simpler and complete and cover everything that you need within the GP practice. And then you've seen my colleagues show you some examples of how you can use myGP. And now I just want to run through this and make sure you're absolutely clear about everything that's in the package. So first off, if we can go forward, there's some jam today and there's some jam tomorrow. So the jam today are things that many of you will already be familiar with. So for those of you that are existing customers on the webinar. I'm sure you're all using myGP messaging for bulk messaging, for appointment reminders with automatic cancellation. What we're also including now within the myGP platform, as we refer to it, is ad hoc messaging. So that's the ability that John showed you just now in sending a message, either a data or a text message, straight through to a patient. And we're also including video consultation. You saw that demonstrated as well. Again, that's either an in-app experience, or else it's a URL so that people can join a video even if they don't have myGP app. And of course, there's friends and family test, which many of you have been using as well. So that's everything in myGP for practices today. And as you've seen for patients, there's the myGP app, there's the triage link, and they're the NHS funded services. And Louise gave you that example of young Kevin suffering from depression and the ability to self-refer to IESO, which is a CCG funded service in some parts of the country. Okay. Now, after I've spoken, my colleague Nam, who's our Chief Product Officer, is going to give you a bit of a glimpse of the roadmap, but we've already decided to include some of the new things coming down the line within the platform. So here we are. Let's go on to the next slide, Louise. So coming very soon, there's a thing that we call simple triage, and I'll leave Nam to talk more about that. And then also patient questionnaires. And then also, this is all within the next 6 months. Some of these things are coming out this month. Some are coming out starting off in December and then going through January, February, March of next year. So the next thing in that list is the customer-facing dashboard 2.0. We have our dashboard today, but this is going to be a much enhanced and improved version. Looking now down for patients, I'm sure you've all seen that straight away, NHS login. So Luke referred to that in his demonstration. We're expecting that to go live and be released during November. So certainly next week, I would hope, might even be this week. We've just got some final processes we're going through there. And then, as Hilary and Louise have said, self-pay services coming onto the app to help patients access all the healthcare that they need. And across all of this, for those of you that are existing customers, you'll be very familiar with our telephone support, so David Smith and team, the training that we provide to get you up and running and successful as soon as possible, our dedicated account management, which is focused on outcomes, making sure you achieve the success that you want. SMS cost management, maybe you're not all aware, but we provide an SMS service through which you can prepay for your text message credits. And so you get a really tight control of how those messages are being used. And lastly, we are a GP ITF supplier. So that's the whole package. Everything on the right is included in myGP platform on the left. Okay, so what does this cost? Next slide, please. This is where we try to make it really, really simple. If you're a new customer, it's going to be 12 pence per patient. And this is, I've lost the slides. There we are, we're back. It's going to be 12 pence per patient. This is for CCG-wide contracts. There are discounts for large agreements, or maybe going up to a regional or STP level. If you're an existing customer, you get everything that I've shown you on the previous slide, all included in your current contract rate. Okay. So if you're an existing messaging user, effectively, you are getting video, you're getting ad hoc messaging, you're getting our new simple triage tool, you're getting patient questionnaires when they come out next quarter, all included within your current contract. So whatever your current contract renewal rate is, you're paying nothing extra for those new components. If you're a new customer, it's just 12 pence per patient and you get the whole lot. Now, if that sounds too good to be true, do ask some questions, and I'm sure Louise will bring those out, and I can come back to any particular points if you think I've missed something. So if I've caught your attention, let's go on to the next slide, which is how do you get started? So very simply, maybe I'll start with existing customers. There's nothing to do to your current license agreement. That will now include all of the new capabilities I've described. So from today, it includes remote consultation and the myGP app. And when we release simple triage and questionnaires, it will include those as well. So to get started, you go into myGP Connect, and Kieran showed you that very briefly. And each practice just needs to set up their triage tool URL. So in this case, that could be Dr. Links or eConsult, as Kieran showed you. And then you need to get on and configure the myGP app. When you've done those and you're ready to start using Buddy, the Buddy toolbar that you saw John Garrett demonstrating, then just pick up the phone or send a message to your account manager. So that's Amanda, Hanny, Sim, or Scott, and say you're ready to get Buddy installed, and they'll talk you through the steps to do that. Okay, so really simple process there. If you're not a customer and you're interested in becoming one, then just get in touch with us and speak to somebody such as myself or Kieran or anybody from the sales or account management team. We're rather old-fashioned, like anybody else. There's a contract to sign, but then each practice simply completes an online registration form. There's an onboarding process that connects myGP to your clinical system. And then when that is done, one of our coordinators will be in touch to schedule the training and setup of the myGP patient engagement platform. So that's all there is to do there. So Louise, back to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan, and apologies for giving everyone a quick flash of my email inbox there. So now we've gone through that, I'm going to hand over to Nam, who is our Chief Product Officer. So Nam joined us a number of months ago now, and has been doing some fantastic work with the product team to help us really move everything forward. So we wanted to give you a real clear overview of the direction of travel. So Nam, if you would like to explain the roadmap, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Louise. I hope my video is visible now. I'm guessing it is. Great. Hi, everyone. So I'm very new to the myGP family. It's only been 2.5 months, but I'm enjoying. So in terms of the product roadmap, we've got lots in the offer in the next 2 quarters. But before that, I would like to tell you a bit about the product development process that we follow here in myGP. We follow the lean startup model. So we try to get products shipped as fast as possible and do a lot of end-to-end customer testing. So speaking directly with the GPs, CCGs, our product managers would be spending a lot of time moving forward, talking to the GPs, and then demoing them our products and collecting first-hand feedback about what they think about our products. We also have a clinical lead now, Dr. Harriet Leyland, who's a very, very established practitioner herself. And Dr. Harriet is going to help us moving forward in developing some of our clinical products. So it's a lot of excitement in the product family at the moment. We have lots of new people joining as well from some very exciting companies. So we've got lots in store. But the three kind of things, or kind of the three primary objectives or ethos wherein the product organization is based on, is the first one is save the NHS money. It's all our money, ultimately taxpayers' money, and we are very conscious about it. And every product that we develop, we keep that in mind, that are we making things easy? Are we making sure that our taxpayers' money is in the right hands and being used in the best possible way? So that's one of our main objectives. The second one is better outcomes for patients. So patient experience, patient engagement, patient feedback is absolutely everything for us, and that's what keeps us going. And the third one is help practices comply with regulations. So as you mentioned already, we've got clinical lead in place. We have some very experienced data protection advisors as well in the company. So we take these things very seriously. We are very, very sensitive about clinical risk, and we make sure that whatever product we ship out, it has to comply with all possible regulations that are in place. If I now just move on to the roadmap, you can see Buddy 2.2, which is what John Garrett from my team presented just a few minutes ago. So Buddy is that's going to be launched in November, around mid to end November. The development is actually complete. We are doing user testing at the moment with some of the customer sites, and we are getting some glorious feedback already. The final version would be ready around mid to end of November, and all of you will see it when it's out. Buddy 2.3, which is what I'm actually most excited about, that's going to be a way more powerful product, I would say. Buddy 2.3, we've started developing already in bits and bobs, but it will go into full development in December, just before Christmas. And we are hoping that it'll be out in public around February, perhaps mid-February. Simple triage, I think this is something Jonathan, my colleague Jonathan, has mentioned already. Simple triage really is going to be quite a game changer for us, because this is triage from the myGP family. So it's a bit different from the other triages that are there in the market already. It's really simple, and I think it's been developed and designed keeping the patient experience in mind totally. And our clinical lead has been taking a hands-on role in kind of designing the entire user journey and making sure that patients' requirements are kept in the heart of what we do. Triage will, again, we've started developing it already, so that's going to be released in public around March. That's the expectation. Questionnaires, Flori questionnaires, basically, I mean, again, very excited. We already have the friends and family test, which is one of our feature products, as you already know. Now we are looking at kind of expanding that offering already, and you will see more and more different types of questionnaires, health check like BP, BMI, diabetes, depression, anxiety, all sorts of things. So we are planning to develop as much as, I would say, 20 plus questionnaires over the next year, the whole of 2021. So this would be a very powerful offering that you will see coming out of the myGP house. And that also is planned to launch in March. So as you can see, March is going to be a very exciting month for us over here. And last but not the least, self-service dashboard. Data ultimately is in the heart of everything for internally for us as well, because we use data to understand our customer behavior, user behavior, and I think externally as well, because our CCGs need the data. They need to understand how myGP is actually helping them in, making sure that all the three objectives that I've mentioned previously are met. So data ultimately is the key KPI for us as well as our customers. And we are planning to develop a product which would be absolute blockbuster. It'll be very easy to use. It'll be nice looking. It'll have all sorts of the positive things that you would expect from a nice self-service kind of dashboard product. So that also, I've recently hired a data scientist in my team, and he's spearheading this entire initiative. So this is also expected to launch around March, perhaps beginning of March. So yeah, that's where we are. There's lots and lots going on in the product team currently. As you can imagine, it's buzzing out there. And we are hoping to launch a lot of things pre-Christmas, but in the new year, definitely, I think you will see loads and loads of products, really good products being shipped from out of our door throughout the whole of 2021. Thank you.
Amazing, thanks, Nam. Super useful stuff, and yeah, everyone's been super busy, so it's really exciting to see all the wheels in motion, everything coming through for early next year. So that sort of brings us towards the end of the webinar, and I really hope that everything we've spoken about today answers a lot of the questions or the queries that you might have had. But I've seen we've had quite a few questions come through as we've been going along. So I'm going to put some of these to you, my delightful colleagues. So the first one, Kieran, is I believe a question about call recall. So how do hidden appointments work? So if the patient is using a different app, so if the patient's using the NHS app, will they be hidden from everyone except myGP users? So I think this comes into what you were saying before about sending invites to those hidden appointments.
The hidden appointments are unique to the myGP platform. Whilst you can share the same appointments for online booking, so let's work on the basis that you've got online slots for telephone triage. You'll make that available and you'll mark it as online services applicable. That will be applicable to all online services and all providers. However, if you make a particular slot type called health checks within the myGP platform, that will only be visible to the myGP users. So it is something unique that's offered just on our platform. I'm guessing that you are used to putting all your online appointments on for everybody to use, but if you're a myGP user, you have the ability to add additional ones on.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers that for you.
And just to build on that as well, Sarah, I think it's Sarah that asked that question. So just to build on that as well, when practices come onto the myGP platform, we offer a thing called myGP recruitment. So what we'll do is we can send an SMS message for free. We'll pay for that to all of your patients to encourage them to download the app. And we resend that normally twice a year. We're looking at sort of reevaluating that. Just to encourage your patients to get onto the app, where then you can make best use of these sort of call recall functions. Obviously, the more patients you've got using myGP, the more that the practice facing software is going to work. So that's just something free that we offer. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, then just drop one of us an email and we'll be able to put you in touch with the team that sorts that out. So John, as expected, quite a few buddy questions. I hope you're ready. So does Buddy work if you have more than one EMIS window open, as a lot of their GPs run two at once over dual screens?
Yeah, that's been an interesting topic. So we actually discovered that one as part of our testing, that often people have not only multiple instances, but are also using things like soft tokens to access from home quite a lot at the moment. We've been doing a lot of work on the back end side of things to make sure that it talks to EMIS in the best way possible. At the moment, we are investigating ways that we can talk to multiple instances. We believe we found a solution which should hopefully be released fairly soon.
Amazing, thank you. So just going through again, John, I know you're in the hot seat, but with Buddy, are patients able to directly reply to the text messages?
At the moment, no, but you did see on NAM's roadmap. So they are able to reply outside within Connect, but as Buddy goes at the moment, no, but you did see, as I say, on the roadmap that we're able to do two-way messaging plus attachments and things like that. But at the moment, if they reply, it's going to go through to their Connect inbox.
Okay, perfect. So Kieran, I think this is one for you, back to another call recall question. Firstly, is it possible to change the default email? And secondly, is it possible to run more than one campaign at the same time? I know this is something that we've been working on recently.
Yeah, you can change the default email that it's sent to. That's standard when any campaign's sent out. A lot of the users of the organisations, they'll create a specific inbox at the practice for them to send them to, so they don't go to the individual users. And what was the other item? Sorry, Louise.
It was the multiple campaigns, more than one campaign at once.
It used to be only one campaign at once. We recently changed that at the beginning of last month, so that's available now. You can have multiple campaigns running. I think in the example that I had 2 running, and then we were creating a 3rd. So yeah, you can have more than one running at once.
Amazing. So we've got a question here, which I guess someone's asked if we can have a demo of triage and the questionnaires, and I guess I'll answer that. Absolutely, we can. When we have new products sort of coming through and we're ready to launch those, we'll absolutely be running webinars with current and potential new customers to show you how those are working. So yeah, Nam, I don't know if you've got anything to add to that.
Yeah, I can add to that, and thank you for the question. We knew that there will be a lot of interest for this product, and we are actually super excited. So next webinar, I promise we are going to bring our clinical lead, Dr. Harriet Leyland, along with us to speak about triage, and we will also bring the product manager for triage. So yes, definitely a demo is on the horizon. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. So I'm just having a look through here to see if we've got any more questions. So there's a question here about whether the system works across multiple surgeries or in multiple locations. Again, I know that's something that we've sort of been working on in the background. So I don't know if Nam, if you've got an update on that, or if you want to wait to do that on the next webinar.
Yeah, I think another great agenda for the next webinar. Thank you.
Absolutely, perfect. So is there an option to change nominated pharmacy within the app? Kieran, do you want to take that one?
So currently, proxy is available for appointments, but it is not available for medication. I believe it's on the GP ITF roadmap, so you may see that come through for all suppliers.
Yeah. And as far as nominated pharmacies, we are bringing more and more, as we said before, more and more partners into the app. A lot of these are going to be pharmacies, so patients have the opportunity to nominate a new pharmacy from within the app if it is one of our partners. However, if patients are looking to nominate their pharmacy, for example, I've got a Sainsbury's next door. If I want them to be my nominated pharmacy, I'll go and speak to them and they'll change it on their system. And then when I order my meds through myGP, I can just pick them up next door. So it's very much, again, pushing that patient choice and patient agenda. So we really want them to be able to make those decisions about who their pharmacy is and who they're wanting to use. So unless anybody has any more questions, she says pointedly, I think we've come through to the end. So I'd like to extend my thanks to all of my colleagues and to everybody watching for listening to me drivel on and listening to my colleagues demonstrate what we hope to be, you know, something that's really going to help you guys out in delivering even better, you know, care than you already are. So thank you so much. And if anybody else has anything to add.
Well, Louise, I just want to say I thought you did a smashing job, but I'm really disappointed. There are no questions for me. Was that because
sorry. I can make one up for you.
Yeah. But you know, we really are trying hard to get a very simple platform that does everything that you need in your hands. And if you've got any questions about that, how you make that work in your practice, then please reach out. We'd be very, very pleased to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll share a recording of this round afterwards. And please just email us with any questions and one of us will be able to get back to you.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.